like right now we are playing pretty fast and loose with this ban phase. I imagine we'll have a much better idea what people want to play once we actually get into lobby.
Yeah, and speaking of getting into the lobby, I think we have a couple of lineups to go over real quick here, just for the people at home who are not aware of who starts for each of these teams. But on Aurafarmers, we got Condi, Evil, Swag, Demon, Vintek, and Akka on the board today. Tell me what you think of this lineup in particular, Isaac.
Obviously, lots of firepower. Evil has been in OWCS with Quick Esports, obviously a very strong flex DPS player focusing on the Tracer, I believe. Condi, hit scan, lots of value always found from him. I believe his speciality is Cassidy, but the Soj and Freya are effective as well. Akka is probably the third player I would point to. Has been finding lots of success on Mew 3 recently. And generally plays, like I mentioned, part of a double flex support backline. So her Olari, her Wu Yang, very strong. Outside of that, maybe there's an opportunity for Bliss Marauders to punish.
Yeah, I'm very interested to see how Bliss Marauders can stack up to this lineup. And, I mean, we've got a lineup over here, too, to take a look at. Very interesting group of players we got here. Real Necros, by the way, everybody. And alongside Attacks, Nepu, RK, and Kill the Hog. And, I mean, this is a banger lineup. I'm not sure that Necros is the one actually starting today. I might have taken the wrong message from the conversation.
Icos and Attacks should be starting for DPS, at least on Bliss Marauders.
I see. I kind of figured that's
Tank
what
should be
was.
Knight.
And Tank should be Knight. Alright, yeah. Okay, I was a little bit confused there. That is entirely my bad. It is in fact Icos and Knight, not Necros and Nepu. So, Nepu is on the bench, I believe, going to be potentially ready in case they need him, but it will be Knight starting. It does look like both teams have said that they're ready in the lobby, so we will be getting in here shortly. Any early predictions on, like, specific hero picks or anything like that?
Less Tracer than you'd expect otherwise, but she's still going to be strong. I would say probably Cassidy is the biggest winner of this patch. Freya, I don't believe reasonably changed. The Soj buff to your slow is nice, I guess, but I don't feel like it really affects the amount of damage you'll be doing with it. But the extra 0.3 seconds on Flash is crazy. And it's another shot off for free, and especially if your hit scan is strong, that's an extra headshot, an extra 140 damage. You're going to be securing a hell of a lot more kills in this, and it gives you especially an ability to burn tanks when they try and get up in your face. So I feel like that is the most common choice to be selected. Curious to see the has so far out of Swag Demon, considering the nerfs he received. Obviously, not able to headshot him and block. Maybe they imagine that the slight cooldown increase to the Violent Leap will be enough, or maybe they figure it's comfortable, why not just run with it?
I mean, end of the day, if you're comfortable on a hero, you may as well just walk out playing it, at least to start out. Because if it doesn't work, fine, you can swap to something a little bit more meta-relevant. But if it does work, suddenly you're on a character that you are very, very familiar with playing and happy to be running consistently. Very early rotation to the point for Bliss Marauders, by the way. Attacks already posted up on the site. Cassidy in hand, especially with like so much poke damage coming out from the Kiriko, from the Cassidy. It's going to be very difficult for Aurafarmers to get in on this one, but they do a lot of damage here tonight, taking a whole lot, and Attacks also getting hit with a headshot railgun there. Eventually, Knight will be the first casualty in the fight overall. Health pack gets stolen away by Icos, but Evil still having a slight health advantage. Still a very close Tracer 1v1, but eventually Evil will take it away. And Aurafarmers, in the meantime, they will get first capture.
And they'll be able to get these exit kills as well. Great damage hurled in from Connie on main to force people off that angle, force them into retreat, and Evil's there to snap the trap shut, take all these exit frags. Aurafarmers, an easy first fight win, lead on ultimates, and of course no point percentage given back the other way, so things going about as well as they could reasonably hope for after this fight. This kind of position you're in now, though, you want to play for a lot of damage onto Swag Demon. If Aki can finish off her Kitsune Rush, then Aurafarmers can take a mid-rotate fight and punish Bliss Marauders once again before they have a chance to respond.
And Knight, by the way, has gone over to the Malga in the midst of all of this. So a slightly different approach coming out from Bliss Marauders. No more Orisa, instead opting for the much more terrifying in some instances, Mauga. Definitely just as annoying, if not more in some cases. Kitsune Rush gets popped here, but not before Evil manages to find a pick onto attacks. It's going to be 3 for Evil. This Tracer is just electric right now, managing to find a 4th, but the 5th will not be necessary as Swag Demon finishes the job.
I mean, I know I said that Akka should be looking to build a Kitsu. She gets it off in time, but it doesn't even matter. Is off point, away from that ultimate. Aurafarmer are able to get all the value that they need anyway. Swag Demon and Evil combine. But this time the flashbang connects. Evil's dead, and the Hazel needing to be invested to keep this in contention.
Yeah, it's a 1-for-1 trade, and attacks falls very low, eventually will die, and the sound barrier comes out just to save the life of Swag Demon, who has slightly over-aggressed. The point has been flipped in the midst of all this, but with the amount of players Bliss Marauders have lost, this should be a relatively quick recontest and recapture, even with Icos finding 2.
Icos have no right to find 2 there. I don't know quite how it works out, but because of that, this is still in contention. Aurafarmer just don't have the numbers to fight this, mano a mano.
Nah, definitely not. They will get to 99, though, and you will absolutely take that. Condi, in response, though, is going to be using that overclock, and, I mean, it shoves Knight so far back. He takes a lot of damage. A great usage of the hazard wall just to ensure that the Deadeye doesn't get in super quickly. A Swag Demon will eventually be falling victim to that anyway. And that's just probably enough to keep Aurafarmer away from the point. But Akka does find a pick onto Icos here, so there is potentially still some pressure to be put on.
Indeed there is. Still going to be pretty back and forth, but Aurafarmer still need to figure out a way to get some space on the point. Great railgun is going to chunk the HP down. Maybe that's their go button. Yep,
especially with Knight falling as low as he has. RK goes down as well, and that should be a retake at 99. Condi goes down. It's all really onto Icos just to keep this one contested for extended periods of time, but Vintak will eventually get the final blow, and nobody is there to touch, so Aurafarmer, they will take the first point.
Yeah, once they figure out where they left their mice, they're able to retake relatively simply. It feels like they have great control of the tempo, but it's when they decide to get a little bit too aggressive, they want to press their advantage too much, that they are losing percentage points. So Bliss Marauders, their 50% was well earned, but you would imagine that they're looking to figure out a way to win out these fights a lot more easily in the neutral, because it feels like the success they found has been just to punishing mistakes. If I'm Aurafarmers, I'm probably just going to treat my opponents with a little bit more respect, and with that win, a little bit more. Torbjorn, by the way, for attacks is really weird. It's not something you see every day. Hero's still pretty strong, though. Your shotgun, especially from that rivet gun, is great on these shorter sightlines, and the turret on the long one is mostly designed to shut down Evil, trying to get funky on the objective.
That turret is so good at keeping a Tracer in check, but unfortunately for the Torbjorn, there are a couple of characters on the side of Aurafarmer that can just kind of poke down the turret at range, most notably the Kiriko with the kunais and the Sojourn, just making it very, very difficult to keep that up and making it a whole lot easier for Evil to get the job done. Aurafarmer are going to be getting the first capture here, as well as the first elimination of the round. Icos going down to the wall of all things from Swag Demon, and that's just a full force back. But another exit frag from Swag Demon just ensures that this gets worse and worse
surely
for
doesn't
Bliss Marauders. Surely not.
Yeah, the railgun last second, and Evil getting a little bit aggro with the blink means that Knight eventually does get killed. Attack size Torbjorn is no bueno, but right back over to the Cassidy. It's the exact same hero that we lost on previously, so will it be enough of an adaptation, or will Aurafarmers continue just to bully them in the choke as Evil sets up for a backline hit?
Well, another adaptation comes through as well. Knight goes over to the Zarya, something we haven't seen yet today, but I don't hate the pick, honestly. I think it's very interesting that we see it this late. I would have rather just walked out on it, personally, but 82% charge already is not bad in the slightest. Unfortunately, you've lost all of it. That's an early isolation with the help of the wall, and that's just another clean teamfight win for Aurafarmer.
Again, except for these ultimates which we're seeing, we're just, same with the Kitsu, we're just throwing like ultimates after we kill people. They kind of know that they have a lead. I mean, the Hazel, I guess, into the Tsar isn't catching anybody anyway, but It's a clear lack of respect we're seeing from Aurafarmers.
Yeah, especially considering Evil is just taking the 1v1s on the enemy Tracer, and it's working. ICOS simply cannot compare right now. The difference in Tracer gameplay is kind of a major factor as it stands here. Hopefully something can change off the back of Kill the Hogs using the Kitsune Rush, but Beat comes out, and that's going to make it significantly harder to utilize this. A lot of ultimates now being expended from the side of Bliss Marauders, and a couple picks are coming through, but it's a 2-for-2 trade to start out the fight. 99% now for Aurafarmer. They do get to the point, but it's just Kill the Hog left alive, and they aren't anywhere near the point. So it is going to be a map 1 win for the side of Aurafarmers.
Pretty simple for them. I mean, we're seeing it here. They're simply not challenged, unfortunately, by their opposition. It is the only way I can realistically put it. They're really just chilling. Vintax has 0 die, and I honestly would probably believe it. It's not a player we ever had to mention. Evil went down a couple of times because he's so aggro. Again, Tracer into Cass, into Torbjorn is going to be tricky at the best of times. But unfortunately, so far, won my traffic.
Yeah, it's been very much one-sided at this point in the game, and I think a lot of it comes off the back of Evil's Tracer gameplay. And I mean, you were talking about it a little bit. Has played in Tier 1 OWCS Quick Esports, and despite not, taking any match wins in OWCS, having that level of experience is still something extremely valuable, Just being able to, say, play at that Tier 1 level, being able to scram at that Tier 1 level, having practice against the best in EMEA is extremely valuable. And I think that a lot of that comes through and is visible against teams like Bliss Marauders.
Indeed. Obviously, speaking of Bliss Marauders, is going to be their first map pick, their first ban. Obviously, because Aurafarmer is the highest seed, they were able to have it going into Lijiang. And so if I am Bliss Marauders, you're in an interesting position thinking about what to ban. Obviously, their ban, I believe, was the Genji previously, so that is unlocked, but in exchange, you could ban, for example, the Evil Tracer, which was also getting bits done. If I were them, though, I'd probably bring us like a Suravasa, ban the Vintac Lucio, try and punish the backline in terms of their flexibility.
Yeah, I can absolutely see that, and it is... The other thing about it is the fact that in map 1 we saw them ban out the Mercy just to protect their own backline from being banned out. And banning the Lucio and Suravasa, I think that would bring in a similar effect, because obviously if you are afraid of that Lucio, you don't want to necessarily play against it. Ban it out, protect one of your own supports. Again, I don't think that's a bad strategy for them in the slightest, but at the end of the day, it does just come down to what map type they want to play, and if that's Suravasa, then I think Lucio's a great ban for that. But if it just happens to be something else, then I think you can maybe still think about a support ban. Maybe not Lucio. I think you want to save that one for Suravasa or whatever Flashpoint map you end up going to, but a support ban seems like a pretty solid idea at this point.
I would for sure be targeting the backline, see how that works out. Because I feel like with the DPS, there's nothing you can really ban that doesn't leave them something strong. I don't fully know Swag Demon's hero pool, but I mean, if you can play Haz, you can probably play more than a couple other things which work essentially the same and will do essentially the same thing. So that's where I would be looking. Interesting. I've just seen what the pick and ban is. We'll tell you once the graphics are set up, but I'll just say they're thinking along the same lines as Mr. Spectreon here. They've got the same type of idea.
Well, I have not seen the picks and the bans because I'm not looking at the Discord right now. So I will be just as surprised as the audience when it happens on my screen. Oh, that's a map pick. Okay, I see the map pick now. I haven't seen the hero bans. But the map pick, we are going to Atlas. We are going to a Flashpoint, so not Suravasa. The newest Flashpoint map, rather. What do you very generally think of this map, Spectreon?
It's a Flashpoint map. I'm not saying they're all the same, but they don't have the same like huge differentiating factors that some of the, for example, hybrids or escorts might have. You get to take mid-rotate fights. There's plenty of angles. You're probably looking not to play super extended shooting because the maps are normally too short range to allow you to get like SIG stuff really working. it will essentially be pretty chill. So I think this is fine. This is a good idea. Again, it's just very dependent on being able to play at the tempo where you can actually punish the backline.
Yeah, it'll be interesting for sure to see what the bans end up being here. Obviously, as we all know, the bans on the table are not going to be the ones that we've seen previously. No Mercy ban for the side of the Aurafarmers, and no Genji ban for the side of Bliss Marauders. The Bliss Marauders, they do get the first ban here, obviously, and I am very curious to see where they end up going, because obviously getting rid of the Genji was, I would say, a pretty decent choice, but Kiriko will be the selection this time around.
Again, makes sense. Probably going to shift the backline over to a Lucio Wu Yang, and then you hope you can win like tank trade. So I'd imagine with the Kiri ban, Akka won't be playing Juno, I would expect, just because A, not really her hero, B, I still don't think Juno is that fantastic, even though we have been seeing some of her in Korea, obviously with the most recent patch notes. Aurafarmers, their own chance to a ban, they've had their backline banned out. They would probably therefore be looking at something that will be annoying for tank line, is what I would imagine, something like Orisa, just to make it so Swag Demon can be as aggro as humanly possible.
It will be interesting to see what we end up doing here. I mean, on a map type like Flashpoint, it would not surprise me to see one of those super high mobility DPS get banned out, but I don't expect that Aurafarmers will get rid of the Tracer, considering how good Evil was looking on that character. So perhaps a more consistent ban onto the Cassidy or something like that, just to ensure the ensure that the Tracer is as, what's the word I'm looking for? Unimpeded as possible.
Bro, I said unimpeded. That's crazy.
I did. I did.
Yep, Zarya. Zarya's annoying on the front line. You don't want them walking down with 1 more billion charge and ruining your day, so you just rather ban her out so you can continue to play super aggro from your tank line. I think it makes sense. I think for sure, especially if you do end up playing like Lucio Wu Yang, Evil and Connie are going to have enough resources, right? That's what their backline's really good at, enabling your DPS. So as long as your tank is in a position to get something done, you're probably going into that next map with something of an advantage. I think on the whole, better bans for Bliss Tier 6. Just depends if they can actually do anything with the advantage they've created for themselves.
Yeah, I'm very interested to see how things change going into this one. It does look like we are seeing a couple of substitutions for the side of Bliss Marauders. We see Control going in, Kill the Hog, perhaps role swapping here. I know it still says support, but assuming that the position on screen is correct, maybe Kill the Hog playing DPS this map.
Yeah. It appears to be the case. We'll see how that works out as we're getting pretty creative with it. I feel like this is just a case of somebody getting back from work, school, university, wherever the hell Overwatch players do in their free time, and hopping onto the game before having somebody fill for them. At Bliss, I mean, I was discussing this with Ballskunk the other day. It's a very beautiful map. It's very blue, definitely. Yes. But it does end up, when you're playing it, I think it flows very nicely as well. I'm a big fan of it. Jacob's in to play the break, obviously, you can see that. Double main support, we haven't seen since, like, 1907, probably. This is such an old
it's been a while. It's been a while.
You have the AoE healing of the Lucio and the Brig both. Combine it with the Queen Shout and Bleeze. In theory, you should have enough sustain. Aurafarmers will have to play this incredibly fast, so otherwise they will get outpoked by the superior sustain of the Nepu form, combined with Control's overall HPS. So, tempo is the name of the game here.
And it is going to be very interesting to see how the slight difference in support line and the major difference in tank line affects this match overall. Swag Demon already finding the first pick of the map. Control goes down very early, and now you only have Lucio heals to work with. This should be a relatively easy fight to clean up, especially as Icos and Nepu both go down. That should just be a first capture for the side of Aurafarmer. Very, very nice and aggressive fight here from them.
Yeah, that it was. I mean, they did see the engage come through from Nepu, but as soon as they tried stepping a little bit more past the corner, then there was enough resources bled out of Bliss Marauders that Aurafarmers could just push it on their own. And it worked out so well for them. 3 out early from Icos. Jacob missing the whip does put a bit of a question mark on this side fight, but the brick for now will be able to drop to survive.
Jumps down to the point, making sure that a crucial piece of this team's sustain does not go down early in the fight. That would be disastrous, just straight up. But now 54% in building, and Condi once again finding an opening pick here onto Nepu this time. And I mean, the dominoes just continue to fall. It just cannot continue like this if Bliss Marauders want to be like actually competitive here.
Yeah, and at 80% left to go, whilst you can get a touch, it's going to be very awkward, which is exactly why we see this mid-rotate fight.
Yup. Yeah, I mean, you just don't give them any space to breathe. 90% in building now. I think Bliss Marauders kind of realize that they don't have a touch here. 99% gets ticked over to 100, and just like that Aurafarmers, they have won the first point.
They have easy flashpoint in their favor, and you're probably winning out on ults here as well. If Swag Demon can get this Rampage before the Lucio finishes off that sound barrier, then again, Bliss Marauders just have to take that fight loss.
Yeah, they just have to hold the L, walk away, but Jacob very low while using this rally, but it just doesn't matter. Walking in once again on Nepu, and I mean, it's a 2-for-1 trade. Sucks to lose Evil, but doesn't really matter at the end of the day. You're just gonna rotate to the next point and probably get another first capture here.
Yeah, I mean, there's no problem about it. First cap through Bliss Marauders. We'll have that sound barrier at the very least, but a late beat from Vintac could end up winning them the fight anyhow. Coming down to this beat usage, it's going to be basically the entire fight, so a lot of pressure onto the red Lucio.
And apparently a lot of pressure onto the blue Tracer as well, as she loses out on the mirror. And this is a great start to the fight for Bliss Marauders. Condi trying to turn it around with the use of the overclock, but it won't be. Jacob goes down to a standard railgun from Kill a Hog, and eventually Bliss Marauders, they finally get their first progression on this map so far. Nepu nearly overextending a little bit and dying, but eventually will remain alive. Condi finding Kill the Hog, but Nepu with the spear right back. It's a 1-for-1 trade, and it feels pretty even right now, but that's a great rampage directly through the window. The beat to keep this entirety of Bliss Marauders alive. Despite that, though, a whole lot of damage being dealt on both sides, and yet again, it's another trade, but eventually Bliss Marauders should be able to take the better end of it. Kill the Hog finds a clean double, and they will hold on to the point.
Very chaotic fight there. At the end of the day, though, I think Vintac's late beat was a little bit too early. The point of going for that Rampage first is to force out the sound barrier so that your beat is guaranteed better. If it's not that much better, you don't get that much of a lead for the overinvestment in ults, and so ends up going in favor of Bliss Marauders one more time. Aurafarmers will have a touch, but it won't be pristine.
Definitely not going to be the best touch they've ever had. Full spawn goes out from Icos, but no connections on that one. Railgun out in an attempt to take out Swag Demon, but Jacob is the first target to go down. Condi as well, falling victim to the railguns. And eventually, in the midst of all of that, Aurafarmers, they do just step off the point for a little bit too long, and Bliss Marauders will even up the score here on Atlas.
So they don't have the firepower to compete there. Aurafarmers somewhat blown out the water, and great to see from Bliss Marauders, who've been somewhat playing catch-up for most of this series. Glad to see them somewhat in the driver's seat now. And with both sides relatively skinned, all they have to deal with is a rally from Jacob. And this next flashpoint could be theirs. They've got defenders positioning so far, but with their opponents dropping first, the point, see how they play this crossfire to try and force them off.
Early damage here on to Kill the Hog, but manages to stay alive for at least a little bit longer. Condi does put in a whole lot of damage pressure onto Nepu. It is, as you say, it is a strange position from Nepu, and eventually it gets punished, but the rest of Bliss Marauders also goes down pretty quickly here, and RK not able to escape, so just jumps back into the enemy team to attempt to maybe find another kill, but not going to happen.
No, it will not. Aurafarmers, the position you're in. Okay, they're just rallying in.
Okay. Control caught very out of position. Jacob getting a whip shot to take him out of the equation entirely. And I mean, that's Okay, another fight win.
It's as simple as that. See if you get the late kills well onto the Lucio, who's being assailed from every side. Eventually will go down to the Pulse Pistols of Evil. 73% now ticking up means that Aurafarmer's in that last fight territory mark. This time, you do have a definite lead on your Rampage. See if it's going to cause them another fight loss, or whether they are able to convert on it this time.
And Evil has just pulsed Icons. That is gross. Shades of Zest. Initiating the fight here. You have to try and go for this even without your Tracer, just because it's at 99%. But nobody is there to get the touch. They can't even get close. Kill the Hog and Control go down as well in the immediate aftermath. So it's rough out here right now for the side of Bliss Marauders. That point was really just dominated by Aurafarmer.
It was good for Bliss Marauders for a second, but literally only that. Once they got past the poke phase of that first fight, then everything kind of went against them, and all the momentum they had built up from their previous point disintegrated. Reforce early out of Evil, a small advantage, as Icos is unfortunately being getting gapped in the Tracer 1v1. There's no nice way of putting it.
Yeah, sometimes you gotta try and find a nice way to put it, but it just doesn't happen. Vintak also not able to get the beat down before Jacob unfortunately falls, but Condi with a very nice shot onto Nebu might even just be able to equalize this one, especially since he's still hitting shots. Kill the Hog also going down here. And just like that, Aurafarmer once again taking first capture on the point. This is the third time they've done it. Both times they've done it previously, I believe they have ended up winning the point. So, looking good.
Indeed. Kondik just able to land a bunch of dinks mid-OC. Pulse invested from Icos, but doesn't get the kill. And dropping down to no HP now, taking down Kondi. What an opening.
Gorgeous stuff. But eventually Evil does get punished for the slight overextensions. And this Brig also looking to go down. But oh my god! Operation Save Private Jacob.
Okay, bro, get out of spawn. Okay, you know what the hell you're doing.
Okay, man. Now, surely Jacob will not live this. Surely. Yeah, eventually goes down.
I mean, they threw, but they knew they were throwing, so they'll still be able to at least trade out one Swag Demon. It'll take care of the enemy Lucio. And the points still tick up in their favor, so I don't imagine they're too mad about it eventually. Believe that's a Tracer on Cart who's going to get the flip. But it's 91% already. Aurafarmer's only the one fight, and they're getting closer and closer to another Rampage.
Yeah, and that's obviously been one of their keys to victory in this map. That Rampage, every single time it's connected, has led to a fight win. Eventually the point will get flipped. Control with a very nice usage of that amplification matrix takes Condi out of the equation entirely. This should just be another flip, though, especially with Jacob going off the board here. I don't imagine that Aurafarmer wants to fight this too hard, especially since they got to 99.
I mean, Condi just got gapped. What are you doing? You've rampaged 3 people. There's no sound barrier there for you. The Lucio drops low now down to 0. This could be a clutch manifesting from Swag Demon.
Yeah,
I don't know. I think they've got it.
Now. I mean, they've got it. I mean, he's hitting the emote. He knows it's over. There's no need. Kill the Hog is going to be using that overclock just to try and do some damage to get back to the point. And eventually someone does get back to the point, but I just don't think it's going to be enough at this point. They have Tracer in the area, but with the recall burned, with the health going down to 0, nobody else is nearby, and Atlas will also go the way of the Aurafarmers.
That it will. Able to take it in relatively simple fashion, only dropping the 1 point there. And with that, they are 2-0 in this playoff series. Only the additional map needed for them to get this win and set themselves up for a matchup with WBZ Dream Eaters. Reverse sweep, therefore, required for Bliss Marauders.
And I mean, the way that this is going so far, I hate to say it in a way that's so blunt, but I just don't see the reverse sweep. I don't see it happen. It's been extremely clean gameplay from Aurafarmer this entire time. I mean, you can mix up the roster a little bit here. Obviously, Jacob in for Akka on this map, but like, it simply doesn't matter. Evil is too crazy at the Tracer. Swag Demon is too crazy at whatever tank he's deciding to play. Condi has not. It feels like he's not missing any railgun shots. All of them are playing out of their minds right now, and Bliss Marauders, for as good of a team as they are, they just can't keep up.
Seems so. Okay, so the position we're in, as we've stated, 2-0. Bliss Marauders going to be the reverse sweep if they want to stay in this series. Aurafarmer's just the one needed, and they'll be able to continue forward in the upper bracket. Remember, so if this is the upper bracket, so we're not looking at elimination just yet, but the lower bracket run starting from round 1 is tricky, to say the least. We'll see exactly how things play out after this break, however, because we're just going to disappear for a second or two. When we're back, the continuation and very likely conclusion of this series. Stay tuned.
Hello again, everybody! We're back once again. It's Aurafarmers, it's Bliss Marauders Tier 6. It's 2-0, and it's not looking good for Bliss Marauders right now. It has, frankly, been kind of rough for them on our first 2 maps of Lijiang Tower and Atlas, but we at least have 1 more map to play, potentially 3 if we see the Great Awakening from Bliss Marauders. I am Gedster, joining me as Spectreon, my good friend. And do you have any insightful thoughts about the 2 previous maps that we have seen?
Why called Aurafarmers if no aura? No, in all seriousness though, they're kind of just like steamrolling them. They're not really doing anything that's interesting in terms of macro. They're kind of just better players, so they can just shoot people better is kind of what we're seeing. Going to Circuit Royale for Bliss Marauders. I can't say I'm a humongous fan of it. It ends up being that the DPS can really make or break no matter how it plays out. I don't believe Spike Demon's fantastic on the stick, but don't take my word as gospel on this whatsoever.
Right.
So I do think that it may well end up just being Evil and Condi just essentially locking Widowmaker and trying to hit as many headshots as possible. Ban's going to be hugely important to the way this map is played out, because whether we see a Sig or a Ram ban essentially gains the way the map is completed.
Yeah, for sure. And there's also like the possibility of other tanks being thrown into the mix. I mean, I've seen Orysas, I've seen Zaryas, obviously not as frequently as the two you've mentioned, but definitely it's less one-dimensional than Circuit Royale used to be in its earliest iterations, where it was like, if you aren't playing Sigma, you are losing. So, very different environment for the map that we are experiencing in the modern era of Overwatch here. And the first ban does come out. It will be the Symmetra. I do like this ban. I think that it makes a lot of tanks a lot harder to play. Kind of indicates to me that Bliss wants to lean into that Sigma.
Yeah, getting a Ryan or Ram TP in your head is pretty unpleasant. Simban also protects the rest of your DPS picks, so if you want to play Freya, Widow, whatever, that's going to be safe. If you're Aurafarmers and you see this, I don't know, I might just ban Sig. I don't know exactly what your hero pool is, but it's a pretty easy choice. Your other options would be, in terms of backline target, like a Zen maybe, but I don't know. I do imagine Aurafarmers here would really be going for another tank ban. Let's see exactly what they do in a second, but would be very surprised if they left support alone here. They didn't leave support alone, rather.
Yeah, wouldn't shock me in the slightest, but a lot of options remaining for them at this point, and they will pick the Zenyatta, interestingly enough, as you say. Zen, one of those heroes that situationally pretty good. Definitely not what he used to be back in the 2018 era. Shout out Jonak. Very excited to potentially meet him at Stockholm. But I mean, this character definitely still has its niche. Here, King's Row third, other points similar to that. So not going to be dealing with the Monk today, are we? That just means that every single tank in the roster is on the board, though. So I'm very interested to see what both of these teams opt to rock out with.
Zen is annoying for tank, which is probably why we're seeing it again. Generally, Aurafarmer has been pretty protective of Swag Demon, so allow them to play the game as much as possible. So I am assuming that's why we see it. Also, I haven't seen a lot of Zen from either Jacob or Vintak, who appears to be playing right now. Obviously, no more Akka. Still, double main support. Not something you get to see a lot on Aurafarmer, so they clearly have something in mind. Exactly what it is, though, I couldn't quite tell you.
Definitely got something going on there, and I mean, I'm excited to see what we get in terms of the hit scan matchup. I assume it will probably just be more of the same that we've been seeing. Obviously, a lot of Sojourn. The character has never been bad since initial release, and still isn't to this day. In fact, got buffed in this most recent patch, so would not shock me to continue to see her played. We've already seen her on both maps prior, but I don't know, me personally, you were talking about it earlier, I would love to see some Widowmaker. I have not seen enough Widowmaker gameplay since Overwatch 2 hit. Take me back to 2018, man. Give me a Widow meta.
No. Stop saying dumb stuff on my cast, I swear to God.
I love Widow! What do you mean, man?
Hey, that's why you're gold. That's why you're gold.
Oh, whoa! 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 That was uncalled for and mean-spirited. And I'm not even gold, man. I'm plat.
Ah, it makes all the difference. All the difference.
I'm being flamed by my co-caster.
Yep. You think that's going to stop in Stockholm? Absolutely not. Listen,
Absolutely
Hanzo Soj on the defense. Loads of spam here. You have some pick potential, but it's not like the same Widowmaker, which is only pick potential. Lots of utility from the backline, lots of damage as well. Swag Demon's job, essentially just to stay alive more than anything else. Bleeding down your 6 resources, less of a thing to worry about when Nepu is playing with the Illari BAP, and all they have is raw DPS.
Yep. And Condi going to be finding that first pick as Attacks takes a slight slightly disappointed look back towards Ziziari in that instance, but I mean, can you really blame him at that point? That's just a lot of spam damage to have to worry about.
No, you cannot. Killahawk dead. They're still trying to square up, but I don't imagine there's much you really can do down a member, so Aurafarmer just hard shooting in the corner, getting closer and closer to this gravitic flux of Swag Demon. And it's waiting for the enemies to respawn before Bliss Marauders try again to make something happen.
3 minutes remaining in the time bank. There's already been a minute drained and only 31 meters of cart movement so far. I mean, they just haven't been able to dislodge the DPS from these positions yet. Evil, obviously, just standing on the low ground, putting in as much damage into shields and such as possible, but in the meantime, you have Condi standing on the bridge, pumping out damage both from railgun and primary fire, literally the entire time, and eventually Nepu is going to get shut down. You can't pressure out this, these DPS without, hitting shots of your own right now, and I think that's been the big struggle so far for the side of Bliss.
Indeed, that it was. Kill the Hog down once more, Seconde. And so, realistically, they should be walking back to spawn, going for the Flux over, connects onto multiple. The Nano Boosters increase the damage of the ultimate, but the Hyperspheres, I mean, those are absolutely hitting home. Swag Demon cleans up with a 3-piece, if I'm not much mistaken, and half the time might now gone for Bliss Marauders. We probably didn't need to do any of that, to be honest, but it looked nice.
Listen, Flashy and Spectreon got the play-by-play call. You'd love to see it. Over to the Widowmaker now is Kill the Hog. Cheeky little headshot, but it's not going to be enough as Evil. Where is this guy? Why are you here? And why is it working? Eventually does get taken out of the equation, but not before firing off a Dragon Strike. It doesn't kill anybody, but there's so much pressure that attacks crumbles to the Wuyang. And Evil not going to be swapping or nothing, just walking all the way back on this Hanzo. Might take a little while, but we'll get there eventually.
Indeed, it shall. Finally able to swing the corner, by the way. Gravitic Flux pops. No rock comes through and a kill into Swag Demon. Finally creates an opportunity.
At long last, there is a chance, but it is shut down, surely, by Condi, who just hits such nice shots with the overclock.
What the hell is Jacob?
And Jacob is. Why are you there?
He's just in spawn. Get a jump, bro. Find a GPS. Get a map. Get any slightest ability to navigate yourself towards your own team.
Why are we in the back? Why are we in their spawn?
I couldn't tell you.
Listen. Joker Persona 5 skin. You aren't stealing their heart right now. You're not even stealing payload progression. It's ridiculous what we're seeing right now. Out goes Bob, but he's stuck in a very small room. The Nano Hanzo goes so far forward, but Kill the Hog is able to get the headshot kill anyway. Out goes the Visor with 21 seconds remaining here. I mean, even getting the pick onto Evil is not enough. You need to keep moving this card forward, and you need a good pick, perhaps from the Widow, to get that done. Nearly hits the headshot onto Condi, but doesn't manage to fully connect it. 6 seconds now left, and just under 4 meters remaining. Flux comes out, picks up a couple players, should be able to get a couple kills here as well. Don't C9 this one, but I mean, maybe not even having to worry about that because Control and Nepu both going down as well. It's just Kill the Hog left, and a Widowmaker cannot hope to 1v5 against odds like this. And I mean, that's such a great full hold from the side of the Aurafarmers.
Well played from them. I mean, 37 centimeters in between them, that being Bliss Marauders, and getting an extension of time bank. Ultimately, though, does not manifest. And so the point we're at now, all you really need is 2 fights inside of 4 minutes. He'll be taking the series in 3-0 fashion moving forward in the bracket. I mean, I don't know what else to say, realistically. Aurafarmers are still doing goofy stuff. They're still pretty clearly trying their best to have fun. Bliss Marauders aren't able to match them even on this kind of 50% throttle kind of playstyle. I hope they don't play Doomfist, but at this point in the game, I don't know what to believe, so...
Listen. I like Doomfist. I think that the best meta Overwatch 2 has ever had was the You remember the mid-season tournament that the Gladiators won with Reiner on Doomfist and Patafon on... I don't remember. It was... Now I don't remember. Now I'm sad. But Patty and Reiner playing in that particular meta, mid-season, Doomfist meta, was so much fun to watch. And we just haven't seen that sort of thing like ever since then. I love to see some Doomfist gameplay because even though this character has fallen out of favor, I think he's still one of the most entertaining tanks in this entire game.
Oh, if you hit the punch, it's quite something.
Indeed.
Waiting for a shot. Is it evil so far? None. Manifesting. Ooh. Not particularly. Kill the Hulk, give it a warning shot, but only that. We are back to spawn. We're changing our Anna to a Mercy, of course, naturally.
Yeah, interesting decision here, and by interesting, I mean, what the hell are we doing? I mean, there's not much else to say, really.
They're tossing. Like, I don't know what to say.
They're hinting.
Yep. I mean, a power punch here could be nice. The Mercy will give you essentially one-shots on your Soj. We'll use it to pocket the Widowmaker, so God only knows realistically what the game plan is. Jacob forced out, low HP, but will be able to survive. Swag Demon, not able to get punch.
Not quite, but still a fair bit of pressure coming out from several angles here. And, I mean, my eyes are definitely still on Evil for now. If that Widowmaker can start hitting some headshots, it's going to be an extremely difficult hold for the side of Bliss Marauders. But as it stands, I mean, Evil has not connected with very many headshots here. Condi finally getting a couple picks here. Attacked and killed the Hog, both going down, but I mean, it's scorched earth. Everybody has gone down here. The only people left are like the Widowmaker, the Doomfist, and the Wuyong that just jumped off the map.
Yeah, and Wuyong probably making the correct decision, trying to reset as fast as possible, because trying to live here, you know, getting chased by a Doomfist is pretty bloody tricky. Wall hacks, pops by Evil. Full information available, but will it be enough?
Widowmaker's selection here from Kill the Hog as well, just trying to ensure that this fight can stay a little bit more active for a little bit longer. Punch does not go far enough to pressure out the Widowmaker. And the barrier goes up, but Nepu not able to use the Flux. Dies with it. Goes down. Condi also popping the overclock, and it will be enough to get them over the line as Aurafarmers will move on in our playoff bracket in a 3-0 fashion.
Never really in doubt. I mean, unfortunately, we kind of knew from just seeing the matchup that Aurafarmers would be putting something about the lines of this. And, I don't know what else there is to say, realistically. They showed up, they shot them in the head better, and they got the 3-0. Normally I would talk about, like, gameplay, you know, an advantage a team had, or like a macro stylistic thing, but it wasn't really any of that.
No. It was, you ever see that clip from Plat Chat Valorant where, Bren is like, it's an FPS game, you get shot, you die. You get shot, you die.
Yeah.
Like, and then he says, like, he mentions, if you want a game where it's not just that, go play Overwatch. But sometimes Overwatch does devolve into that, right? Like, it
Overwatch is, like, also, like, 50% if you just, like, shoot better. Look at Falcons,
True.
bro. Their macro is terrible half the time, and they just have proper Stalker, like, and they just ruin your day, like...
Listen, they're good at the game. They're very, very, very good at the game. And, I mean, it was going to be a difficult match for Bliss Marauders no matter what way you sliced it here. But at the end of the day, it was a slight team gap here, right? We see Aurafarmer at the very end going over to the Doomfist and the Mercy, and it just works. It just works for them because they're good at the video game. And I fully expect them to make it significantly far in this bracket going forward here. My big question now becomes, what can Bliss Marauders do in the losers bracket?
I mean, only time shall tell. It's as simple as that. I do feel like they definitely have a chance to go deep, but I don't think they're going to be contesting for top 3, considering the kind of beat down they've just been delivered. I mean, it's never particularly fun to get like beaten, but when it happens in a manner like that, all you can almost say is, we're just gonna go next anyhow. There you go. Take another look at the bans. Didn't feel like any of these were particularly impactful, to be entirely honest.
Not really.
So they're there. It's kind of the best thing we can say about it.
Yeah.
Listen, we as you can tell, we don't have much to say about their game, but somebody who might is going to be Jacob. So we're going to vanish for a bit when we're back and interview with one of the victorious members of Aurafarmers.
Lots of love. Lots of love. Lots of love. Lots of love. Got lots of love.
We are back after a short break and what felt like a shorter series with Jacob. How you doing today,
Hi,
my
guys.
friend? Congratulations on the win.
Thank you. Had to miss out on first map, just got back from a 10-hour shift.
Oh my god, dude. Holy, you must be exhausted at this point. I can see the bed behind you that you're probably
Exactly, I'm
going
ready
to
to
crash
jump
into. But, I mean, yeah, end of the day, we got a couple questions for you before we let you get on out of here. So, first of all, congrats on winning your first round matchup here in the playoff bracket of CGL EU Open. My first question is, did the patch that hit, like, literally yesterday really affect any of your guys' strategies coming into this one?
We didn't really have a strategy, we kind of just like, we got someone off-rolling, we just kind of like felt like playing the game, whatever. Like, we played Lucio Brig, I don't really think there was any plans going behind that, we just kind of played the game.
Fair enough. Entirely valid.
I mean, for me, obviously you guys are all kind of tier 2-ish players for the most part. Are there any teams you would say in EU Open Division that you're worried about that you think could provide a challenge for you, or is every game maybe going to be like this, pretty dominant?
I can't say I've seen any other good, impressive teams. No ego behind that, but I just, I think we got this, to be honest. But I'm ready to be humbled, you know. I'm ready for someone to step up and, you know, put me in my place. But we'll have to see about that.
Yeah, and then my other question is going to be, obviously you guys like to get pretty goofy with it at times. It's one way of putting it. Yeah, I gotta know, why was Jacob and Evil like actually in opponent's spawn on attack when you guys were defending on Circuit Royale? Sorry, how'd that work out? Circuit Royale.
Okay, so
Evil's on the Palisade, but Jacob runs all the way to spawn.
Okay, so I went inside room, and then I was like just behind them shooting, and then I got solo Alario'd. And I had to drop him and forget a job in chat because he's chasing me into a spawn when there's 4 people looking at me already and the Alario. So that was a bit of a bad play from him. Could have used that Alario a bit more tactically. And then I don't know. Evil wanders off sometimes. He gets a bit lost. So probably just found himself there too.
Found himself back in tier 1 for a moment there, but I mean, it's always gonna be a fun time getting a group of friends together and playing in a tournament like the CGL. So is it, obviously you guys aren't approaching this with like the most serious mindset in the world, but there still has to be like some level of wanting to win this whole thing. Like obviously just like taking it away would be, 1, very funny, and 2, something cool to add to your resume. So thoughts on the mentality just going throughout the rest of the playoffs?
I think we can win with having fun, but obviously like if we start losing, we can just lock in and like you know, make sure that's not gonna happen on this one. Or if worse comes worse, we just sub in Mr. Golden Pants, he'll kill the whole lobby probably. So
very nice.
I'll argue with that.
Yeah, can't argue really. Last thing before we let you go and before we end the broadcast, do you have anybody you'd like to shout out at this time?
Big shout out to Droppy, like low GM ball player. That's my day one. Shout out to that guy.
Oh yeah.
That's about it, to be honest.
Hey, entirely fair.
And everyone
Thank you
else
so much, Jacob,
supporting Aurafarmers on their journey to become the CGL Season 16 champion.
Let's go. Big champion for Season 16. It's been great having you on, Jacob. Thanks for putting on a show for us. And thank you all for watching at home today. It's been a blast casting with my man Spectrion for the first time in like 3+ months. I don't remember exactly how long
it's been. Realistically.
A year? Oh my god, it's been too long. But anyway, Slice It. It's been a great time. Big shouts to Jacob. Big shouts to the rest of Aurafarmers putting on a show, looking to take this entire bracket here in Season 16. And we will see you all later.
Stay tuned. Have a nice night, guys. Bye-bye.
Bye.